Everyone onboards into crypto using centralized exchanges. It's easy. Put a credit card in, get your crypto, buy your crypto, live happy, guys. But there's a lot of downfalls to centralized exchanges. First off, most people leave their crypto on it, and I always recommend moving your crypto to a cold storage wallet. There's also high fees with centralized exchanges, and the tokens that they put on there are typically higher in market cap. So it's really hard to find those low cap gems that everyone is searching for. How are you become a millionaire with something that is a $1 billion market cap? But all jokes aside, guys, that's why decentralized exchanges like Jupiter and Aerodrome Finance are becoming more and more popular. So I want to do a deep dive into two of these projects. I want to look as the user, you and I. How does the platform itself look? Then I want to dive into the tokens themselves, AERO and JUP. I want to look at the tokenomics, what the inflation schedule look like, and the recent price action so all of you can decide if either of these are a good investment. I will also let you know what I am rocking with at the end of this video, guys. It's going to be a good one. We're going to get into all of that and more. But first, I want to welcome you back to Freeman Finance and Crypto, where if it makes money, it makes sense, guys. From the bottom of my heart, I'm truly grateful for every single one of you. But if you are not subscribed, please pause the video, hit subscribe, hit that bell notification. Now let's get into the video, guys. So just starting out on the left-hand side, Aerodrome Finance. On the right is Jupiter. Aerodrome Finance is approximately a third of the size of Jupiter in terms of total market cap. Aerodrome is at 330 million, and Jupiter is approximately 1 billion, guys. But let's jump into Jupiter before we dig into the deep price action and everything, because I just want to show everyone what it's like as the end user, because that is what really ultimately decides if these governance tokens do well. Do people use the platform, guys? So right here, this is if someone was to swap. They would come here and connect a wallet. Soulflare, MetaMask, this Google Wallet, Phantom. I personally use Soulflare and then transfer everything to a cold storage Tangem wallet. But guys, so right here, you would just pick your tokens, connect, and swap. That is very common for decentralized exchange. After all, you're swapping tokens, right, guys? But they have limit orders on this. This is very much like a centralized exchange. So you could say, hey, I want to buy $5 of USDC of Sol, but I want to wait till it gets to $132. And you would make this order and it would place it whenever it dropped down, if it dropped down that. And that's very, very rare for decentralized exchanges. This is a great platform, guys. And it's important to note that Jupiter itself isn't just a decentralized exchange. They're an aggregator, which means they work with all different decentralized exchanges on Solana, Orca, Radium to get the users the absolute best price and best pairs that are available. There is also dollar cost averaging, guys. This is very, very cool. So you could say, I want to put $100 USDC into Sol, but the market's kind of volatile right now. After all, this is crypto, right? So I want to place orders every 10 minutes, and I really want to do it over 6 orders. And it would automatically divide this $100 up over 6 orders. So about $15 an order, $14 an order, and do it every 10 minutes, guys. It's that simple. There's also bridges built into this. So if you needed to bridge Ethereum USDC onto Solana, could do that right here. I personally try to avoid bridges at all cost. A lot of money gets lost and stolen into bridge hacks. But if you do need to bridge, here are options. They also have perpetual futures trading, guys, with Solana, Ethereum, RAT, BTC, all right here from a decentralized exchange, guys. You can long it, short it, leverage 1.1x if you're a normal person, 5x if you're a little risky, 100% if your mom dropped you on your head and you're a degen, guys. I mean, they have absolutely everything you could want here, guys. So this is Jupiter, the decentralized aggregator on Solana. But you're not investing directly into that. The investment would be into the JUP token. So what does the tokenomics look like, guys? So it is split 50-50 essentially between the team and the community. The initial supply is 1.35 million. A billion of those were airdropped to Solana holders. Okay. The other 3 billion will also be airdropped to holders and people who used the various platforms, guys. There is no hard token release date. Okay. There is no hard token release date, but you can kind of take a look at this right here. So we got 13.5% circulating right here. But the release of the tokens will have a 6 month notice released ahead. So if they decide to release 1 billion more JUP tokens, there will be a 6 month notice. So as of right now, you can essentially know that the supply is 13.5% for the next 6 months minimum. These were released at 60 cents a piece. So if we come over here and we look at JUP, we can see 1.35 billion tokens with a total of 10 billion out there. And it's going to be like that for the next 6 months minimum. But that does mean there is a lot of inflation coming for the token. Eventually, there will be a 6 month notice, but there is a lot of inflation in the token. As far as the 1.35 billion tokens out there, 300 million of them are currently staked on the Jupiter platform, guys, within this DAO. So about a billion of them are actually circulating on the market. Okay. So there is a lot of inflation coming with this token. These are all held behind multi sign wallets. 4 out of 7 people have to sign the transaction, but the platform itself is amazing. So that's a good overall review on Jupiter, guys. Now I want to get into Aerodrome Finance. What does their platform have to offer as the leading decentralized exchange on the Base chain? Base is an ever-growing layer 2 built on Ethereum, and if it continues to gain adoption as Coinbase and others think it will, then it could really be a big player in this sector. When we take a look at Aerodrome Finance, it's a very basic, guys. This is built using Optimism's OP stack, very much like Velodrome Finance, which is the leading decentralized exchange on Optimism. You would pick the token you want to swap from, wrapped ETH and or base ETH, and then you would change whatever you want to change it into AERO, guys. But that's essentially where it ends. There is no of these other features. There's no perpetual futures. There's no dollar cost averaging. There's no leverage. It is essentially a basic decentralized exchange, which that's fine. A lot of people don't need all this other fancy stuff, but when it comes to the user interface, I definitely have to give that to Jupiter. It looks a lot better in my personal opinion. But what is Aerodrome Finance and its tokenomics? So, Aerodrome's tokenomics were designed to create a fair launch for the token with no pre sale or external investors, which is very similar to Jupiter. It was airdropped, even though the team does have a large allocation for them. The total supply sits at 500 million tokens, with 450 million to be distributed as V arrows. So, when it comes to the emissions of this, guys, on the first emissions, weekly emissions will begin at 10 million AERO with a 3% increase per week for the first 14 weeks. This emission rate will decay at 1% a week from week 15 onwards. There can also be a vote eventually that will. So, when emissions fall under 9 million tokens per week, which is expected to occur in week 67th from launch, okay, voters can then vote to maintain the current emissions, increase or decrease emissions by 0.01%. But to give us a little visual of what this looks like, this is token terminal on chain data for AERO. And I want to come up here and take a look at circulating supply. So if we see it is currently July 11th, and if we go to January, there's 260 million tokens. And you can see this as I just move on month by month, week by week, how much more tokens come into circulation. Okay. So there has been a 100% increase in tokens from January to today. It is at 523 million circulating. So that is something we have to decide. What is best? Is it a known emission schedule that we know is going to come with Aerodrome Finance, or an unknown emission schedule with Jupiter? Okay, Jupiter we know has a 10 billion token supply, but only 13.5% of that are currently circulating. We do know that when Jupiter releases it, the team will give a 6 month notice prior to releasing any tokens. But inflation is bad for any project. It is very important for longevity of a project, especially when financing is needed. But you can see when inflation comes and demand is down, guys, price will go down because of it. Okay. It's just normal. Okay. When this inflation was coming up, and the price was stagnant, that meant there was enough buying demand to buy up this inflation. But when there is not enough buying demand and there's selling pressure with the current supply, the price is going to go down. That's just normal, guys. When we look at their X platforms, Jupiter has over 400,000 followers on X. They've got a great team. And when we look at Aerodrome Finance, they're at 64,000 followers on X. So about 8 times the followers on X for Jupiter, guys. But when we really break down the price, let's go to TradingView and look at this. So it was released in January via airdrop of 1 billion tokens to holders. And you can see it launched at 60 cents. Okay. It was then immediately sold off, which is normal, and then it went up and hit $1.85. This is the exact same token allocation. Remember, there has been zero inflation as of yet, and it's currently sitting at 75 cents, which is a $1 billion market cap. When we take a look at Aerodrome Finance, it was listed on Coinbase as a experimental asset way back here. I originally got in at around 9 cents, but it had a rocket, man. $2.36 was the high that it released. There has been inflation this entire time. The token supply has doubled throughout this entire time, guys. It recently hit a low of 40 cents and then shot up 50% to over 60 cents. But what do I think? What project am I going with? What do I think is the best? Well, I'm going to go with Jupiter. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Solana as the basis fundamentals of the project, I do think that it has a lot of mass adoption. And Jupiter has the best overall decentralized exchange user interface that I have ever seen, guys. They have so many different options in here, from limit orders to DCA to perpetual futures, guys. The tokenomics are not the best, but they are predictable. They are predictable because we know there's going to be a 6 month notice ahead of time of them releasing any more tokens. It's currently a very low circulating supply, and this team is in it for the long run. Aerodrome Finance, I do think will do very well. The emission schedule is going to lower over time. It will, as we've seen in there. It'll lower by 1% per week, and then there could be a vote to reduce it even more. But Base is a very new chain, guys, okay? It is not something that is as established as Solana, and maybe it won't be. It is a big bet. But when we look at them and we look at the fact that Jupiter is only 3 times the size as market cap of Aerodrome Finance, yet the exchange has a little more volume, but the token, okay, the ecosystem Solana has so much more volume than Base. And with Jupiter being an aggregator of all these different decentralized exchanges, I really think it's going to grow and gain more and more trading volume. But please let me know, what do you guys think about Jupiter? What do y'all think about Aerodrome Finance? What do you prefer? What do you think's the best? And what are your price predictions for the end of the 2025 bull run? We're expecting the total overall market cap of crypto to get to $8 to $12 trillion. It's currently sitting a hair over 2 trillion, guys. I think these are both very good projects, but at the end of the day, I'm going with Jupiter, guys. Watch this video up above, and if you're not a part of the Freeman and Finance family, join, subscribe. Love you all.